So I did the math, and I've actually been here for 20 weeks, which is five more than I was going to say in an earlier version of this opening. So that said, hi everyone, it's David, live again in Granada for what is actually week 20th. And I apologize for my rather long absence. It's been a good 2 weeks, but a lot has happened in those 2 weeks, and as the Spanish say, I'm going to tell you it all with hairs and signs. So, the first biggest thing I want to talk about is I was in Helsinki, Finland for a week, which is great. I went there for a seminar funded by the Medieval Center in, I think, the University of Copenhagen or University of Denmark, or maybe the University of Unz, I forget. But it was on the formation of the medieval canon of literature, which is basically the collection of texts that people say are the ones that you definitely have to read. So that was great. I learned a lot about many fascinating subjects. Dante, who I love, also Heloise and Abelard, which I had not read until now. But not only have I read it, but I've read a lot of good, really good criticism on it too. So that was good. And above all, on medieval Scandinavian literature, which really up until 2 weeks ago I had no clues about. I had read the Poetic Edda, actually just parts of it, but it was fascinating to hear various people's projects about it, as well as hearing what people were working on in more of a northwestern German or Scandinavian context, since of course my field has really been more Spain, with some stuff in French, but mostly stuff for Spain. So it was really great. I'm going to include two photo albums with this. One is the photos that I accumulated buzzing around Helsinki. Saw a lot of great things. It's a relatively new city, so it perhaps isn't the most obvious tourist destination, but there are some nice things. Really, more so, a lot of cute things. I'm saying a lot, so I'm sorry. I'm going to try and stop. For instance, there was this Irish pub, which at least to me seemed about as like genuine as you can get, and I would say seemed to have more ambience than any Irish pub that I've ever been into the U.S. I went there with Felipe, who's a guy in the Spanish department. I think he's technically sixth or seventh year, although if he's watching this, he can correct me. But he's a great guy. He does Golden Age as well as medieval stuff like I do, and ever since, sorry, that was another one. Ever since Ryan left, he's been sort of like a mentor, encouraging me to go to conferences and seminars like this, which has really, really been a great boon and a great friend and an awesome hardcore travel buddy. So that's been great. So we went to the Irish pub a couple of times. That was great. The last night that we went to a shot bar, which had this wheel. I only had one shot, so don't worry too much, Mom and Grandma. But it had this wheel of shots where you spin the wheel and it picks one and you take a shot. I can't remember what I got, but it was pretty smooth. So there was that. There was also karaoke involved, which was just crazy. I completed one of my life goals of having a live German performance of 99 Red Balloons, which was pretty much the best thing ever. I sang, what was it? 99 Problems, which was toward the end of the night. Didn't go all that well. I also sang Ring of Fire, which was toward the beginning of the night. Also didn't go very well, but it was a great night. I lost my voice and just really, really had a good time. That was my first time doing karaoke. So near the end of the week, we went to Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia, which is accessible just by I think it was maybe 2 hour ferry ride south from the Finnish peninsula on south. And it was great. To be honest, in terms of medieval ambience, it was just a really, really, really charming city. I guess if I were pressed between the two, I'd probably recommend Tallinn over Helsinki. That's the second photo album that I'll be sending out here in a moment. And it was just incredibly cute. I really can't say enough about it. Like, I was just amazed again and again at how incredible it was, how much it really fulfilled my idea of sort of like a quaint European city, and how, despite all that, I had never really, really heard of it. And again, it's not that Helsinki didn't have anything that was worth seeing. The square the main square was really, really quite impressive. They have a Lutheran cathedral, which is very impressive and imposing on the outside and absolutely barren on the inside. It was easily the most unornated church that I've ever been in. There's also this nice Orthodox church not too far from there. Every day we went to the this wharf by the market. No, sorry, market by the wharf, right? Where they served a lot of really good, I guess, Laplander type cuisine. And it was great. Lots of fish, lots of salmon. I had this really, really good creamy salmon soup a couple of times that was just really, really delicious. I don't know. I'm gonna have to track down the recipe and try to make it. It was creamy and had dill and had salmon. Also had some moose meatballs, which was pretty exciting. Had some elk sausage, also exciting. So I can check off two more animals that I've had, along with moose and caribou, and I suppose deer at some point. And I also saw the Contemporary Art Museum, which in and of itself wasn't the most impressive that I've ever been to, but they had this really, really good exposition by exhibition, sorry, exposition's the Spanish word, exhibition on the top floor about photography, and it was really a lot of um, just really provocative, heart-rending types of exhibits that really, made me think about photography in a new way. So that was good. Anyway, that's me talking about 6 minutes about only one of the three things that I wanted to talk about. Four things, actually. Prior to that, I hung out in Madrid a couple of times, stayed with my friend and colleague Brett, who's also medieval Hispanicist. So that was good. Great to talk with him. Lots of wine, lots of tapas. I even did the whole crazy night out where you go out salsa dancing and it turns out that the bar is in the basement, and then you go on to some other place with a whole bunch of really young 20 somethings all dancing, and before you know it, it's 7 in the morning. So the only thing you can do is have some churros with hot chocolate and then go to bed and sleep for a few hours. So it was a great time. It was a great time. Definitely check that off of the Madrid experience as well. Then last week, you'd think that I would have written you guys right after I got back from Helsinki. I didn't. I should have, but I didn't. But part of that is because I had another friend and colleague, Catherine, who's was over in Sevilla. She's now in Madrid, and she's just kind of going through Spain, doing research at a couple of sites. She works on, not on chivalry, on horse manuals, also from the Middle Ages. Although I think she does some Renaissance stuff too. But it was fun. I got to show her around the city, introduce her to some of my new friends here. So that was a great time too. Near the end of it, I don't know exactly what it was, but I was just really more and more tired. And I think what it was is I just had this cold that somehow migrated into my sinuses, which I think is like the second or third time that's happened here. I don't know what's happened where suddenly my sinuses are the prime target for all virus, bacteria, and disease. But anyway, it wiped me off, or really, really wiped me out. And I was just kind of sluggish near the end of the week, even through the weekend, up until Sunday, where I came home and slept, got up and had dinner, then slept some more, got up. It was midnight. I figured, well, I just might have, the day is over. So I took some melatonin, went back to sleep, and I I think I can tell you with a good deal of confidence that I slept something like 20 hours that day. And at the same time, really knocked out that cold. I've felt a world of difference. Maria says that she's noticed an incredible change, that I look younger. She said I look more shining, which I'll take that to mean that I look younger. But anyway, it's incredible what 20 hours of sleep can do for a sinus infection or whatever it was. But feel great. Definitely more energetic. Went back to going to the gym. Finally got out running a couple of times to play with the new Zombies Run app, which is a lot of fun. I can definitely see it encouraging me to run more than I really have ever wanted to. It's a lot of fun. I don't know if I explained this. I'm only 9 minutes into this, and there's only one more thing that I wanted to say. So I'm going to gnaw your ear off a bit about this. Not literally. I just had this flashback to this passage in the Inferno, where something similar, not that, but something similar to that happened. Anyway, that's for another video altogether. So the Zombies Run app is fun because you put it on your cell phone, it plays music, and between the music, it gives you these little kind of radio theater esque type things, podcasts, what have you, where it gives you the elements of the plot and advances the plot in this post-apocalyptic type world. And it has you as sort of a main character where you're running out into where all the zombies are getting stuff and then bringing it back to the base, which is only like one small part of it. As you're running, you're getting supplies that you use to build the little base that you have, which you can actually see on your cell phone. It's fun. I think I only paid like $4 or $5 for it, and it's already been more. It's already more than worth the little that I paid for it. So that's been a lot of fun. That's kind of been like my new technological hurrah moment for the week, I guess. I'm just gonna skim through my list here, and I'm pretty sure I've actually caught up with everything. The last item that I have is that I got back to work this week, which is true. Going back to the gym, did a bit of running over the weekend, which was nice too. Definitely kind of feeling like I'm regaining my pace after really taking 2 weeks off. So that's been good. Also, been getting back into studying. I noticed that it had been a while since I've touched my vocabulary stuff, but got back to that today. And the nice thing is, I've actually retained a lot. I'm a little skeptical about whether going through the little flashcards on here helps me use the vocabulary in a real world type context, like as I'm talking or as I'm writing. And I feel like it does, just perhaps not in ways I'm overly conscious of. Tomorrow, if all goes well, I'm going to meet up with my tutor. That'll be good. Friday is kind of what I'm waiting for. Friday, they're going to send me an email telling me whether enough people have passed into the top level, the level 9, which is the only course left for me to take here. I have mixed feelings about it. I did learn a lot in the last intensive 1 month session that I did, so that was good, and I would love to continue with that. But it is, despite the fact that it's cheaper than other programs that I've seen, it is still pretty expensive. And it's kind of one of those things where it might be I'll pay to take this intensive course and learn a lot, and then maybe only be able to spend a couple of more weeks there, and my Spanish might not get as good as if I say, no, forget about that, and try to find 2 or 3 tutors to meet with, maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a week, write stuff on my own, and try to develop a network of people who I can ask to check it over pretty regularly and steadfastly, and definitely spend more time here, which probably isn't exactly what my loving family and friends would want, but it might ultimately be the thing that'll help me the most. I do feel, notwithstanding that I'm getting better at things, I just have to be a bit more disciplined about the things that I know that help, but are really up to me to do on a daily basis. And part of it is that I have oscillating degrees of faith about whether it helps. I feel like reading out loud makes things more fluid for me, but it's very difficult for me to say whether I actually am pronouncing things more. I do feel like, again, the online grammar quizzes and verb quizzes, conjugation quizzes are good at showing me my weak spots, and that's useful. It's just kind of a pain. You find one, you go through it, then you have to find another one, and you know, it's difficult as well to find things that are theoretically a bit more toward my level, I guess, as it were. Um, I've been reading, watching stuff in Spanish too, and learning things that way. So hopefully, passive learning will pay off a lot more than I've been thinking. Haven't finalized a time to take the final test, but I'm going to shoot for it in July. I got rather ambiguous news about the conference that I've been going on and about the ISO one in Venice, Italy in July. It wasn't really anything. They just sent me this little note saying, well, if you're going to present, you should make sure you pay the membership fee. And I said, well, I'm from the US. We don't have they want me to. They're very prohibitive about how they want you to do that. They want you to do a bank to bank transfer, which apparently I was able to do at one point with my account, but then they cut off the service or something strange like that. I have a small bank, so I think it makes sense that they would have downsized service for one reason or another. Sorry, I'm coming on to 15 minutes here. So anyway, I told them, how about I just pay when I get there? They were fine with that. I don't know if it really means anything. They might have sent that out to everyone that applied. But on the other hand, it might be that they know something and just wanted to make sure that I have all my ducks in the row. Who knows? Pure and wild speculation. But again, if I get this, it'll be good. I'm kind of getting to a point where I'm getting a bit nervous. The thing is, I sent a don't tell anyone this. And if any of my colleagues are watching this, don't judge me too harshly. And if you look up to me, do as I say and not as I do. But I sent the abstract. I haven't written the paper itself. I wrote a version of the paper that was torn apart when I tried to submit it to the publication. But at the same time, feel like, if I have a solid month to work on it, I can turn it into something that's worth talking about and hopefully something that can springboard into actually being published this time. So we'll see how it goes. Publishing is the big goal. I was told that if I publish 2 things and present at 6 conferences, 3 of which I have done, for better or worse. Actually, this would be 4 if I get in, so that would be awesome. Then I'm on my way to a successful academic career. So, that's more or less everything. Continued prayers are always, always appreciated. I pray for all of you as well. Miss you heartfeltedly. Would love to get an email from any of you because I guess when I stop sending videos, you also stop sending emails. And of course, I miss all of you. I think Adelaide's the only one that's really staying in touch as much as she's able. She does send me videos, I guess, so I'll take that. Anyway, that said, I miss and love all of you. Hope to see you again soon. The current projected date is September, so we'll see how that goes. Goodbye.